All right, what's up, folks? We are live. Here we are again. Here we are again. Another video response and another live stream where we're going to be going over a video response. Fun times. So probably gonna have a couple of guys join me here. They might pop in here uh, in a little while. Probably not here at the very beginning, but we'll see. We'll see. So let's see who we got in the chat. Dark Spectre, Zombie Fox, what's up? Shay, Dan Erickson, how you doing? Doom Ghost, what's up? How y'all doing? Grim Reaper. So, like I said, we're going to be going over this a bit here. There were some points made in this video that Aimi released. As we know, Aimi is the second person that Ohm had interviewed. She was initially presented as Sarah, the second, the person that that made the claim that their child was threatened, right? So I'm gonna go over that. Like I said, point by point, we'll go over her video here, and I'll give my thoughts on it. The things that I think that she made good points on, the things that probably didn't make the best points on. We'll go over it as a whole. Now, overall, I don't think that the video itself wasn't terrible, but the video wasn't great either. And that's to be expected from somebody who doesn't typically make content, especially stuff like this. I don't know. I don't believe she was a content creator. I think she just has a channel, but I think this is the only video on the channel. So, of course, you wouldn't expect somebody that's making a response video to a situation like this to know what things to really key in on and what things are not as relevant, things like that. Obviously, you're going to notice there's a lot of pausing and stuff like that in this video. It's, like I said, it's a little long-winded. Not the worst video I've ever seen of someone addressing stuff, but certainly not the best. And just to be clear, she had every right to respond. So just to put that out there, because I want to show you guys something real quick, because I did tweet this out to Ohm yesterday. So let me just go to my Twitter real quick, show you guys, because I had tagged him in this, and I'll show you why. Okay, let's go ahead and bring this up real quick. So here it is right here for y'all to see. My Twitter here, I had tweeted this out. I had quote tweeted something that she said here. We'll go to exactly what that is. So it was really in response to this, because she had tweeted this, and then this person named Shannon had said, "I hope this isn't rude. Will you be making your own video in response?" And she said, "Not rude at all. And yes, I will be." So I was quote tweeting this, the "yes, I will be." And as you can see, I was asking Ohm, and I tagged Ohm. I said, "Hey, Ohm Record, do you think this is a good idea? Do you agree with this or condemn it?" And the reason I was asking that is, you got to remember what has been said regarding the situation. All right, supposedly it's being investigated by police and all this stuff, and authorities are involved and all this stuff. There's an active investigation. That's what we're being told, right? That's what we've been told by Ohm. That's what this girl claims. Maybe that's true. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. I can't say with any kind of certainty, but I would think that if there's an active investigation going on, you might not want to hinder it by involving the rest of the internet into this shit. But that's just me. That's just me. Like I said, that doesn't mean that she didn't actually file a police report, or there was some kind of active investigation that was going on, or that there still isn't. And like I said, she has her right to respond to something that's said about her publicly, right? So me saying this was not ever me saying like she can't make a video on it or anything like that. It's a matter of, is this a good idea, right? Do you really want to go this route of drawing more attention to something that, again, is supposed to be being investigated thoroughly, right? So we'll go over to her video now, and we'll just go ahead and get this started, right? Because I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible because there's a couple other things I need to do. I know Crow's going to be streaming later tonight, so we'll just go over this here.
Okay, so I really didn't want to have to do this, but I feel like since Liz Katz doxed me and put out her video.
So right there, I'm just going to say this right off the bat. She's claiming that Liz doxed her. You know what I mean? That basically Liz outed her. I think that that's a little bit of a disingenuous argument to make because she has her, you understand, her first and last name is publicly available information on her Instagram. It's literally, you know, I'm not going to show it, right? But, you know, because we already know if you saw Liz's video, she showed it, right? But her Instagram name is literally her first and last name. It's publicly available information, her name, right? And her images and things like that. Now, I think it'd be a little bit different if she had just a username and was really, she didn't have anything out there that any kind of public information out there outside of maybe just her first name, maybe, or just a username. I think that's one thing. When doxing, to me, doxing is when you go really more into getting a lot more private information, not just first and last name, but anything that is more private, maybe specifically an email address, you know, home address, things of that nature, really telling somebody's location. I don't think just the fact that Liz showed her Instagram, although there could be probably an argument that can be made for that, right? I don't think that's really doxing. And I think it's a little bit disingenuous for her to say that Liz doxed her by showing that, because if we look at what the definition of doxing is, right? And we'll bring that up real quick. Let's bring that up just real quick. For those of you in the back. There's here doxing, dox, okay? Search for and publish private or identifying information about a particular individual on the internet, typically with malicious intent. So, I mean, you could probably argue malicious intent with Liz's video, right? Potentially because of, you know, some of the stuff that was said in it. But again, it was publicly available for all to see. Anybody that would have gone to her Instagram would have seen that it's her first and last name. That's publicly available information. And you also got to consider the fact that this is a person that made a very serious allegation against her significant other. Now I'm not saying necessarily fight fire with fire, tit for tat, or anything like that. But again, you know, you're making a very, you know, a very serious claim against somebody, right? Now, for the whole thing with the kid, that's a separate matter. I think if that was the crux of everything, right? If that was the crux of the argument that her child was threatened, and then that was all there was, and she was trying to stay private about that, then maybe, you know, I mean, in that regard, you could say she could argue the malicious intent of somebody doxing for that. But again, that's also a serious claim too. So, I mean, I guess it's one of those things that you really have to look at, and you could probably make an argument either way. It might fall into a gray area. Is it really doxing? Maybe, maybe not. But this person didn't become private until they decided to make these very big claims. You know what I mean? They seem to be okay with being very public about themselves prior to that. So I guess it's one of those situations where you have to look at it like that. However you want to define it at that point. So maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know what YouTube's terms on it are. I mean, we'd have to see. So I'm not sure if her saying that right off the bat is necessarily true. I think it's a little disingenuous, but I guess it just matters on a person's perception of it. So let's continue on here, though.
I feel like I don't really have a choice, because a lot of things were taken out of context, a lot of things were twisted, and I feel like I have to clear a lot of it up. So something I just want to make clear real quick is that I don't have an issue with Liz. I didn't want to bring her into any of this. I haven't tweeted at her prior to her doxing me. I have since, yes. But before any of this, I didn't have a problem with her. I'm sorry that she felt the need to get involved when she's pregnant. I'm sorry that she feels the need to do her boyfriend's dirty work for him. But yeah, so I didn't have a problem with her. And I'm sorry that she felt the need to do this. So I actually reached out to Liz after she put up her tweet, naming me, and everybody knew who I was then. I reached out to her on Instagram. Thought maybe we could talk. She didn't reply to me. She just blocked me on Instagram, blocked me on Twitter.
Okay, now mind you, she's saying this. I mean, could be telling the truth. Don't know. She's not showing anything to back up this claim. This is just something she's saying.
I guess she.
Well, like I said, maybe she did.
She was just pretty adamant that she was making this video, and that was that. So, yeah. So, something I want to bring up real quick is Liz doxed me. I was private. Nobody knew my real name. I was using an alias because I didn't want to be public. I hadn't been publicly tweeting on the situation. I was just kind of sitting back, waiting for everything to play out. Liz doxed me.
So what she said right there, right, about how she was reacting in the situation, I guess that would be a matter of opinion. Right? We look at the stuff that was said. And I mean, she became much more vocal. If we look through her Twitter, she did become much more vocal once Liz had intended to put out this video, right? She did become, she started, she unprivated herself at that point off of Twitter, and she did start clapping back at people, which honestly I don't think she should have done. Not a good look, right? To just sit there and go back and forth with people on the situation. And honestly, she didn't really need to unprivate herself. She could have kept herself privated even after whatever it was that Liz said. But again, she has a right to respond, right, to somebody that is saying stuff about her, right, and her character. So,
but I find it a bit hypocritical because she was the very one when Sai spoke up who discredited her by saying she doxes people, she can't be trusted, she's this, she's that. That makes you a bit of a hypocrite, Liz, because you have done the exact same thing. And I find it a bit strange too that when Sai came forward, you instantly jumped on her, had all this proof ready to go. And
that's a fair point. I'll give her that, because if you remember the Sai situation after the Sai interview dropped, Delirious had that tweet longer ready. He did have a lot of information at the ready about the Sai girl to discredit her. If you all remember, there was tweets that were shared that were years old about this girl, what seemed like her suicide baiting, as well as just saying a lot of I guess edgy stuff, as well as her also claiming to have doxed people, and even actually sharing somebody's dox, where she shared a link to somebody's actual dox and all that. Now, does that mean that Sai was lying about any of her claims against Delirious? Not necessarily, but again, it's part of it's part of the nature of all this, right? And what we've seen on more than one occasion when it comes to not just Delirious' situation, but anybody, right? When you don't like what somebody's saying, one of the easiest things to do is attack their character, right? In order to hurt their credibility. So, we saw that they did have that at the ready. And this is something I did point out back then with the interviews, was that I found it interesting how they did have stuff ready, have stuff at the ready for Sai, and also what my opinions were about Sai's interview in regards, or as opposed to Sarah's interview, right? I felt that in Sai's interview, I felt that Wrecker was what that interview felt like it was a lot more coached, whereas the Sarah one felt a little bit more it felt a little bit more organic. But there was also the way that the situation was responded to with, the side girl. Again, it was immediately, she's mentally ill, she doxes people, she's this horrible person. And where with Sarah, there wasn't really a response at all. It was, and I found that to be interesting. Again, doesn't necessarily prove anything either way, but I found that the reactions to every situation, even starting from the Brie Lynn situation, from that situation to the Sai situation to the Sarah situation, there was a different reaction every single time. And I found that to be interesting. Again, doesn't prove anything beyond a reasonable doubt, but something to consider. What's up, son?
Yo, John.
What's up, buddy?
Start? You just
Yeah,
start?
I just started. I just started. You're here for the beginning. You're here for the
Oh,
genesis.
nice. I might be hopping in and out though.
No, that's fine. That's fine, bro. You got the link, so you're good. So I'm just going into we're still at the beginning of this girl's videos, 2 minutes in, and I'm just
Somebody wants to know in the chat, is Delirious a pedo? That's up to anyone's opinion. Delirious isn't a pedo. Did he make alt? Yes, I believe he did, and he's paying for it, and he's done a deal.
I think this is what I will say about that, right? Is there proof? Is there substantiated proof to 100% validate that claim out in the public space? No, not at all. Does it exist? I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I have no clue. You know what I mean? The one thing I will say is there is nothing publicly available as of yet that that proves that beyond a reasonable doubt. There's nothing out there. No evidence that's out there right now. There's nothing out there right now that proves that beyond a reasonable doubt. That those are just claims that have been made by people that have not backed it up with any form of substantiated evidence just yet.
No.
So take that for what it is, I guess. So let's continue on here.
That she was a liar, she's mentally ill, all this kind of stuff. You attacked her character instantly. My video comes
and that is
out,
true. And that is true. Like I said, and I give her that. That is true.
I'll be right back, John.
But, yeah.
5 months later, you decide to make a video on it. Why did it take so long? And what, like, all you seem to have.
I think that that's a little bit of a disingenuous interpretation of it too, because Sai wasn't really the main focus of Liz's video. This girl was, Aimi was. You know what I mean? I think that was just something that was shoehorned in there just to kind of address it because it happened beforehand. So.
No proof, just old tweets of mine taken out of context, which is something I really want to get into. But first of all, the main thing that I see people running with is saying that I was 20 in 2015. That is not true. Here's my ID. I'll put it up on the screen. I was born in 1998.
Okay. So we'll take this as you can see here. It does say June 2nd, 1998, United Kingdom ID. You know, she obviously is blurring out anything else that might might dox her in. So, but you see her name here, her picture here. So this is the one thing that she has provided so far. The one thing that she's been able to substantiate so far is her age, right? So let's continue on here.
Which means I'm 23 right now. I actually tweeted in 2014. I'll also put that tweet on screen saying, just sitting around being 16. So it was out there. You know, I didn't try and hide my age or lie about my age. My age was there public on my Twitter. I didn't. I mean, I get, like, if that's the only tweet people are seeing, of course they're going to believe it and take it and run with it. The tweet that Liz posted says, I'm basically like 20 now, or I'm like 20 and I'm sitting, eating cereal or whatever. Have people never heard of an inside joke? Because that's all that was.
Okay, this is not a very great point for her to make, in my opinion. And the reason why is because you can't expect people that are following you that don't know who you are to be in on the joke. people take stuff at face value all the time when it comes to social media, for the most part. You know what I mean? Unless they know you, or unless they've gotten to know you and your sense of humor, they're not going to assume that you're joking. They're going to assume that whatever it is you're saying publicly, even if you're just saying I'm like 20 and not necessarily saying that I am 20, you know what I mean? They're going to take it at face value. You know what I mean? A lot of times people take what people say, not only at face value, but as declarative statements for the most part. Like I said, unless they're your friends, obviously your friends are going to know, because they know you in real life, and they know your sense of humor. They know the kind of things that you say. So saying like, oh, you know, I was just joking. That's obviously we know that that's true now, right? Because she's shown her ID, but there's no way to expect people, just random people that come across your profile, to know that, or to know that you're joking, or to be in on the joke, right? So let's go back.
A joke that me and my friends had. I'm not sure if you have heard. If you ever turned around to someone younger than you and been like, "What are you, like 12?" When they clearly aren't 12. It's just they're younger than you. That was kind of the same thing that we had going there. We were teenagers, and Joe would be like, "Oh, I'm basically like 20 now. Like I can do whatever." Joe, it was a joke. We weren't literally saying like I am 20. Hence why in the tweets it says I'm like 20 or I'm basically 20, not I am 20. So that's the main thing I wanted to just clear up. I was not 20 back then. Liz has just taken tweets out of context. And speaking of tweets out of context, there is a lot of tweets that were taken out of context in that video. One of which I will hold my hands up. It does make me look very, very bad. That tweet being one I tweeted saying, "Enough dirt on you to murder you." That tweet was not aimed at anybody in particular at all. It was not a subtweet. It was not, no one's name was mentioned in that tweet. It was literally just a song lyric, an Eminem song lyric.
Yes.
I didn't realize that it was a crime to tweet song lyrics. It is not relevant to anything.
That's not the only one that made her look bad, though. So this is, again, there was another one that she's hyper focusing on that one, right? Which, again, that's not the only one that Liz pointed out. You know, Liz also pointed out the tweet where she talked about, being played, and, this one. She's not talking about this one, this is the other one, which, again, and in fairness, right, we don't know that. Let me go to Liz's video real quick just to show you all what I'm talking about. This is also the other one that Liz was talking about. You can't just play me, use me, and then cut me off like that, or you can, but I can also fuck up your career if that's how you want to do things. Now, granted, she could be talking about anyone here, right? Not Delirious. It could be somebody else that she was talking to that might have had a public, another public figure, or somebody that has some degree of public profile. Maybe she was referring to them. She's not specifically saying this to anyone, right? But it's interesting that she's not talking about this either, because Liz did show this one in conjunction with the other one she's talking about, which is the song lyric. So again, take that for what it is. It's just an observation. But let's go back. Let's see here. Let's go back. Here we go.
It was not a threat to anybody. Also, Liz seems to think that because I was bar hopping back then, that must mean that I was 20 or however old. No. Again, taken out of context. I live in Ireland. I'm not sure if people that live outside of Ireland are familiar. We drink over here like a lot, and we can start drinking when we're young, and we can go into pubs when we're young, and we will get served.
And look, and in fairness to her, I don't know, maybe that's true. I don't know how the laws are in regards to that in Ireland. Maybe that's true. But again, we have a situation where presumptively, right? Most people that would look at somebody saying that they're bar hopping, they would reasonably assume that that person is of age if they're talking about bar hopping. Okay? It's a reasonable assumption for people to make. Like I said, she could be 100% right about what she's saying here, right? Hey, look, where I live in Ireland, not a big deal. People underage where I live go to bars all the time. And truthfully, look, somebody that is 18 can essentially go into a bar. They can't drink. But I mean, what would be the purpose of them being there, right? They could probably walk in and then probably walk right back out once they don't get any kind of drinks and stuff like that. But yeah, maybe it is different over there, right? Maybe it is different. Maybe she lives in a small enough town where really nobody's going to give a damn. Sure, it's totally possible. Totally possible. But again, we get to the point where what she's saying out there publicly, saying that she's going to all these different bars and stuff like that, she's hanging out with older people, again, and saying stuff like, oh, people my age are getting married and all this stuff and settling down. Again, people would reasonably assume that, okay, maybe this is an older person. You know what I mean? This is a person that is of adult age, right? Even if they're not actually that. Which again, now we know for a fact that she wasn't because of her showing her ID.
The people who work in the pubs, especially in small areas like where I live, they know you're underage. They will still serve you. Like, it's not a big deal to drink around here when you were young.
I mean, obviously here in the States, that bar would probably get shut down if people found out, right? People would lose their liquor license. It's a federal crime. I mean, that'd be a wrap, So, I mean, like I said, I don't know how the laws are in Ireland, how stringent they are with stuff like that. Maybe what she's saying is true. I wouldn't know. Maybe if there's anybody from Ireland in the chat that lives in a small town, you let me know. Is what she's saying here, does it hold any weight? I don't know. I don't know how things are over there. So, like I said, maybe it holds weight, maybe it doesn't.
So again, that doesn't prove anything. Yes, I was underage drinking. Also, the groupie thing. Seeing as this whole situation is about me being underage at the time and being a teenage girl, I think these tweets prove that I was, a teenager, acting like a teenager, doing teenager things. I was a teenage girl who fangirled over boy bands. I wasn't a groupie. I would, yes, those tweets are very embarrassing. I would tweet at celebrities. I would go to a lot of concerts. I still do go to a lot of concerts. I tend to get meet and greets. Like, I'm not a groupie. I just enjoy music and meeting my favorite musicians and stuff. Again, embarrassing.
And look, here's another thing too. In fairness to her, right? Again, even if she was a groupie, that wouldn't necessarily mean that she'd be lying either, right? About this situation, right? Just to put that out there.
Yes. Incriminating or anything? No. I would partake in games that fandoms were doing, like, oh, could you make it Joe, could you be a groupie, and who I'd ship you with, and that doesn't mean I was a groupie. It means I was a teenage girl, doing teenage girl things. And I think other tweets that she put out was about me lying about school. She claimed that I lied in my own record interview because I mentioned school. That is not the case. I think Liz has gotten a bit confused here. She thinks that because she's seen a few old tweets of mine that she suddenly knows everything about my life. Because I tweeted saying that I'm so glad I'm not in school anymore. Stuff like this. I'm happy I dropped out of school. Yes, I did drop out of school when I was 15 going on 16. So there was a period of time where I wasn't in school. I was working instead. But I later returned to school and finished my education. So again, I didn't lie. I did drop out of school and then I went back to school. So thinking that people taking a tweet and thinking that you know everything about somebody, it doesn't work like that. Another thing that Liz is very adamant about is that her boyfriend, H2O Delirious, definitely asks every girl their age before he starts talking to them, because he asked her age when they started talking, and I think 2019 the DM was from. Just because he asked her age in 2019 doesn't mean back then in like Joe 2015, Joe, and whenever he was talking to the other girls, it doesn't mean that he asked ages back then. I'm not.
And just to mention something, that's a fair point for her to bring up, right? Just because he asked recently, that's a fair point, right? It's possible. It's possible that he wasn't asking age and maybe had too many close calls. Because if we look back at the Brie Lynn situation, right, where he found out after the fact that she was underage, is what he claimed, because of what he was told, by the people that set him up, right, by Marcel and whoever, I believe it was Executioner, the guys that set him up. They're the ones that told him after the fact that she was underage. I mean, maybe that's true, right? Maybe he just didn't. It is possible. Now, I will say this: while it's within the realm of possibility that could be true based on past encounters, right? Brie Lynn, she's claiming that, he didn't ask me for my age, right? Obviously, a proof would go a long way, right? If she showed something, right, where she was talking with him and they're just engaging in conversation, and at no point age is being brought up, and then all of a sudden the conversation gets sexually charged, right? Or maybe there's a he's propositioning her for something, right? Like, hey, send me pics of you topless or something like that, and you see a thread where they're talking where age has not come into it at all. That would be bad for him. That'd be really bad for him, right? Super bad, because regardless of, you pulling the, I didn't know how old she was, and I assumed that she was old enough. Obviously, that wouldn't fly. That's not going to save you in court. You can't say, well, she looked older, so I assumed she was older. That wouldn't help you. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. I mean, like I said, what she's saying here, could it be true? Sure. Can she prove it? Don't know. No, let's see. Maybe she provides something.
I'm not saying he didn't ask other girls. I don't know their full stories. He didn't ask me my age. And I find it very, very convenient that those DMs just happen to be gone, because if he asked my age and the DMs were there, you could easily prove it. But no, of course, they just happen to be vanished. So there's a lot I want to talk about, but I also just want to kind of keep to the point here. My past with Delirious. This is what this whole situation is about. And if you want to hear all the little tiny details and nitty-gritty, my interview is on America's channel.
And it's still
Liz
up, by the way.
claims that I was the one to initiate contact with Delirious, which, yes, is true to a degree. I was a fan of his. I said all this in my own interview. I got his merch, and I took a photo in his merch and would tweet at him and reply to his tweets and stuff. I did not initiate the contact in DMs. His DMs were closed at the time. He had to follow people back to be able to have a DM conversation. I wouldn't be able to just DM him at that time. I'm not sure now when he had his Twitter what the situation was, but at that time I could not just go into his page and DM him. He followed me back after I tweeted at him one day, and he reached out to me in DMs, and he was the one to initiate the whole sexual contact side of things. He was the one asking for Skype sex. He was the one asking for nudes. Again, Liz cannot prove any of this.
But here's the thing. Yeah, Liz, and neither can you, because you're not showing it, right? Like, and again, and nobody, once again, because there's always people that think that when people ask for proof, they assume the worst. Is just like, what do you expect her to do? Show pictures of when she was underage? No, nobody wants that. Nobody is asking for that. Okay. What we're simply asking for is any messages, any text, things that were typed out that prove that, right? That prove, or at least have any kind of alluding to what you're saying, right? Because again, if she's having a conversation with Delirious, right? And it's just, they're just talking, at no point age is being brought up, then all of a sudden the conversation starts to get in an area, like I said, where it becomes sexually charged and stuff like that. Even that would suffice. That would suffice, because it's just like, okay, that's not good. You know what I mean? There it is, you know, but not even that is being brought up.
I, however, can, and people are going to be like, oh, show your evidence, show your evidence. I've said it a million times now. My evidence is with the authorities. It's not for Twitter to see.
But this is also why, again, you know, and maybe that's true, right? What she's saying here, okay? That she doesn't want to show anything, but this is also why when yesterday I tweeted what I tweeted, let things play out. If it's stuff that you cannot show or been told that you cannot show for whatever reason by the authorities, why are you talking about it? Why respond? And look, she has a right to respond, right? When her character is being attacked publicly. But now, again, you're bringing attention to it. Why not go ahead and go that full 9 yards? You're already here. You're already drawing attention to it. Again, nobody expects you to show any pictures of any kind. That's not what people are asking for. Just something that could at least back up just a bit of what you're saying here. Just a bit.
Twitter are not the police. And
Shoot, Twitter's not the place and YouTube's not the place either.
These are serious allegations of child pornography. So, yeah.
Here's the thing. You know you know what would go a really long way? If she had any messages, right? Just messages, not pictures. Again, just messages of Delirious soliciting her for nudes, you know, saying, hey, send me a picture of you topless and all that stuff in the thread where, again, age has not come up at all. That would go such a long way. You know what I mean? And helping, you know, validate these claims. Because again, we don't know. We don't know if it's true or not. Could be true, sure. Could be. You know? But we don't know. You know, it's all a matter of you gotta kind of have to take somebody. We're expected to take people at their word with this stuff when they decide they want to come forward and not present anything to back up the claim.
Yeah, that's how things happened with Delirious. Like I said, if you want to hear more on that, like my interviews, I'm not going to go into it all again now. So when this whole thing started this year with these allegations coming out, I put out a subtweet. This was before my own interview, before anybody knew that I was Sarah, before anyone knew that Sarah existed. I had seen the Keemstar stuff, and I tweeted saying, just because your girlfriend's pregnant now doesn't mean you're a nonce, because I had seen Delirious. He's such a family man, you know, like, how could he ever do anything bad when he has a kid? So I subtweeted, and almost instantly, bearing in mind, I didn't have many followers on Twitter at the time. Nobody knew who I was. I hadn't publicly named Delirious Liz, anything like that. I put up this tweet and almost instantly start getting threats from a private account. I got a message request.
So just real quick, I want to go back to something real quick, and we'll get right back to this here that Liz had showed, right? So something that she had said earlier, and I had wanted to address this, but I've forgotten, was talking about, oh, you know, proof of my age was out there on my Twitter, stuff like this. Now, this was the first time that we know of, right? That she, you know, by her own admission, saying that, yeah, you know, I did take a picture of him and tweeted at him and tagged him in the tweet. So this was 2015, right? And the tweet where she talked about being 16 was in 2014. Okay. So I guess the presumption would be that she's saying, you know, my proof of my age was out there, that maybe even he should have known, right? because I had put it out there beforehand. That's a presumption to make, right? Because you're saying essentially that it was already out there. So I'm going to assume that he had seen previous tweets of mine before. Is kind of the idea there, is that somebody would have, which again, we don't know that. We don't know that Delirious would have gone that extra mile, right? To say, I'm going to go through her entire Twitter timeline, to vet her. We don't know, could he have? Maybe. Did he? We don't know. We just don't know. So that's just something that I had wanted to point out in regards to this. So let's go back to our video. And here we go. Let's continue on here.
This was the Ray Harpy account. It was Ray Harpy at the time, threatening my daughter. And that is something that I'm sure any parent ever would not take lightly if their child was being threatened, or if they felt like their child was being threatened. It's not something you would take lightly. Of course, I went to the police straight away.
And again, fair, right? It's especially if you're taking it to that level, right? That somebody is saying stuff like this to you, right? Saying that's a pretty heinous thing to say to someone, right? If it is an actual, even the implication of it, right, is not good. I think anybody that's a parent would freak out and probably react a certain way. But we got to remember that also, that what we had in those tweets is at best an implied threat. It's an intimidation tactic, if not anything else. So it's one of those things, again, it could be perceived as a threat, but is it a direct threat? And that's one of those things that I guess it would depend on how it would be argued in court. Pretty tough to prove with just emojis, right? So let's go back to our video here.
I was scared for my daughter. And I kind of knew who it was, because isn't it a bit coincidental that the second I put up a tweet about this man, I start getting messages in my DMs when I never, nobody would have reason to threaten my baby. So I went to the police. And
that's, again, fair point for her to bring, right? The presumption there being that I guess he was keeping tabs on her, I should say. So, and the tweet that she's referencing, let me just go here so you see. Let's see. Let's go back to Liz's video. This is the tweet that she's referencing, right? Just because your girlfriend is pregnant now doesn't erase the fact that you're nuts, though, does it? Which, she was taking a pot shot. All right. There's no other way to put that, right? She was definitely taking a pot shot at him, saying stuff like this. Is it possible that he was keeping tabs on her? Sure, absolutely. Especially if this was her account the entire time. So it's one of those things like, but can you prove that? You know what I mean? Or was somebody else keeping tabs on her and then reporting back to him? Who knows? It's another one of these things like we just don't know. And the thing is, you're basically calling somebody, we know what this means, right? What nonce means in the UK and Ireland. It's probably the worst thing you can call somebody publicly. So now I don't know if he knows that. I don't know if Delirious actually knows what that means, right? Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. I have no clue. But just wanted to point that out. This person took a pot shot, and somebody responded. Presumably, in her case, right? She's saying it was Delirious, right? So let's go back. Go back to our video here. Hopefully we can get through this relatively quickly. So.
I gave statements, evidence, everything.
And just real quick, let me clarify this real quick.
I was talking.
Just because she said that, does that mean that she deserves to have the life of her child threatened? No, absolutely not. Not at all. From anybody, whether it be whether it was, Delirious, right, who she alleges it was, or anybody else, maybe a Ravenous fan or anybody. Nobody should be threatening or implying threats against anybody's life for stuff that's said. online. But on the flip side of that, though, probably shouldn't be saying defamatory things about people either, online without any kind of substantiation, right? So
talking to people in the police department from the cyber side of things, police department.
So she says here, the Ray Harpy Survey Junkie Now account registration email is also emailing at the time, pretending to be another
the cyber
victim.
side of things.
We know that has made that same claim, right?
Talk to police about the exploitation side of things, me being underage when all this started, because obviously I had to explain why I was, why I thought I was getting these threats and stuff. And Twitter, I was told by the police that Twitter were doing their own investigation into this account. It's not something they took lightly either. And something that really bothered me from Liz's video is she claimed Delirious is so dumb, like he can't even spell mountain. How would he make all these fake accounts and threaten a baby? Like nobody gives a fuck about your baby. But then, like 2 minutes later, Liz, you proceeded to say, "Oh, but Delirious was behind this account, this account, this account."
Yeah, and this is a fair point for her to bring up too. Is that contradiction that Liz had in her video about him being too dumb to make up alt accounts, right? And then saying that he made up alt accounts, right? And this is something I think Aura had pointed it out, and also Crow had pointed it out, right? A blatant contradiction, right? So pretty stupid on Liz's part, right, in the video that because it's an edited video too on top of everything else. So surprised that I don't know if she edits her videos herself or has somebody do it for her, but the fact that there's a blatant contradiction like that is is worth pointing out, and it's a good point for her to make here, right?
That was harassing people that were talking bad on him, harassing people that weren't on his side. But for some reason, he would be too dumb to make this account, this alt account that threatened my baby. That doesn't really make sense to me. And whether you think he did or didn't do it, you heard TJV. He's seen the email himself. He knows.
Okay, and to that point, if y'all remember, I asked TJ specifically if any of these alt accounts that were also suspended were tied to the H2O Delirious main Twitter account, to which he said no. Okay, I'm just putting that out there, right? Now, is it possible that there's an email that does say that, and maybe TJ was telling me that because maybe, I don't know, maybe he saw something and wasn't supposed to speak on it? I don't know. I have no idea. What I can say is this, right? The only other thing that would lead me, the only other conclusion that I can really draw from that, right, is if for some reason there is an email that was between Twitter and Ohm that somebody said, hey, look, beyond a reasonable doubt, these accounts are tied together, 100% confirmed. I would think that that's something that he would have to have some kind of inside knowledge on, right? He'd have to have an inside guy telling him specifics about accounts like that, because normally they're not going to tell you outside of just the most milquetoast, just basic shit that they can tell you about an account being suspended, right? Because when you report accounts on the app and through email, right, they'll come back and tell you if an account was suspended, and they'll tell you the reason why, but that's about it, right? They'll tell you, hey, we found that such and such account violated terms on, I don't know, like targeted harassment or whatever it was, whatever it is, right? Ban evasion, this, that, or the other. They'll tell you that, but they won't necessarily go into details, right? They won't say, hey, by the way, this account was tied with this. Oh, by the way, these messages or these DMs or tweets, they all came from the same device. They came from the same IP address, things like that. Or they obviously won't give any kind of private information, but I doubt that they would give you specifics on what they did to find out other things regarding that account. Like I said, unless you got an inside guy, which, look, that is possible, right? Maybe Ohm knows somebody at Twitter that told them straight up, yeah, hey, 100% confirmed this was Delirious. certainly possible. But here's the thing. If he does have that email, right? If he does have an email that says that, right, with somebody basically giving him details about somebody else's account, we'll never see that email unless Ohm wants to get that guy fired, right? Because I would assume that would be against that'd be violating some kind of company policy, I would think, for them giving out information like that to another user on the platform. So, just saying, just putting that out there.
That it was Delirious behind that account. I know that it was Delirious behind that account because I have been working with police. I have heard from Twitter. I have heard from the police. I have had this whole thing, not just because of the alt account, but because of the whole allegations that people said, oh, like, she clearly didn't go to authorities. It is still ongoing. I have had police, I have spoke to police from different sections. I have had police out to my house multiple times. I have given statements. I have spoke to police in Ireland, the ones that came out to my house. I've spoke to them on the phone. And I have also dealt with police in America that are dealing with the situation. Again, people are going to say, where's your proof? I cannot physically give that, and that's fine. People are going to be like, oh, she's clearly lying. That's fine. You can believe that if you want. Liz claims that this alt account, the Ray Harpy account, that then turned into the Survey Junkie Now account to, like, you know, play it off as, oh, it's just a spam account. Liz claims that this account could possibly be my ex, the father of my first child. I'm not with him anymore. She claims it could be him because he wasn't a nice man, and she found tweets where I was talking about him not being a very nice man. It's clear I do not like that man. So if I thought for 1 minute that it was him threatening my daughter, I would speak up on it. I would be like, oh, there's a chance that it could be him. Again, not something I would take lightly, and I would want to find out who was behind it, and get them held accountable. I would not defend my ex. Trust me, if I thought for 1 minute it was him. I have no contact with him whatsoever. I haven't since my son was very, very young, and I shouldn't even have to go into this because it's personal. It's nothing to do with this situation. He is not in our lives. We have zero contact. I don't even know where he is. We do not talk whatsoever. But if he did want to threaten me, he is not the kind of person, trust me, he is not the kind of person to hide behind an alt account. He would say it, and he would say it loud and proud, and he would not care what people thought of him threatening a baby. He would do it publicly, and he would not hide behind an alt account. But besides that, besides all the speculation of, oh, well, it could be this person or it could be that person.
Sounds like a real winner.
I know it was Delirious. I know 100%. I have spoke with Twitter. I have spoke with the police. It is proven that it is him. And Liz, you're saying, oh, I'm going to put up.
Now, again, this is just her saying this. You know, she's saying that it's been proven. Again, it's take her word for it. And maybe it is. Maybe she does have something, and maybe she'll show it at some point in time. But, we all know how this goes, right? You know, it's not about what you know, what you think you know. It's about what you can prove. You know what I mean? That's really what sells people on whether or not, or what's going to make people come to a determination on you, right? So far, like I said, we still are not any closer than we were before to anything, outside of the fact that so far all we've had is the substantiation of the age, right? With the ID.
Like the good, the bad, and the ugly on everyone, all sides. Well, then admit that it was Delirious behind that account. Like, you were quick enough to say, oh, okay, yeah, like, he made these stupid accounts. He was being stupid. He's so dumb. He, was disagreeing with people. But then he was quite capable of threatening my baby, and we know that it was him. But of course,
And again, another fair point for her to make, right? And regarding that, all bets are off, right? We don't know. Maybe it's certainly within the realm of possibility that he wouldn't be above doing something like that, right? Using an intimidation tactic on somebody. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But again, we don't know anything beyond a reasonable doubt, right? There's nothing conclusive that has been brought to the surface just yet. And it's not to say that it doesn't exist. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't.
Know how bad that is. He fucked up big time. And that if you turn around and said, oh yeah, you're hardly going to turn around and say, yep, my boyfriend threatened a 5-month-old baby when he is a father himself. When we have a small baby, he's out here threatening. You're not going to say that because you know how shitty it is. You know that it is the lowest of the low to bring someone's child into it, which again is.
And just to kind of add to her point, the fact that he has kids doesn't mean that he would be threatening somebody else's would not be beneath him. Again, I'm not saying he did. I don't know. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But just, yeah, I mean, we don't know. Just because we're subscribed to people on this platform, right? Just because however many years you've been watching a YouTuber doesn't mean that you know them or know how they would react to a particular situation. So, it's a fair point for her to bring up again. Yeah, she, just because he has kids of his own does not mean that he would be above threatening somebody else's kids, So it's another fair point.
It's another thing I want to bring up. I think it is the lowest of the low to bring someone's children into any kind of drama. They are kids. They don't deserve to be involved in any of this. But what I find funny is your boyfriend, H2O Delirious, threatened my baby. We know that.
Implied threat, not a direct threat. I think it's important to mention that because, again, I say it like that. The reason I say it like that, just so the chat knows, because that's basically, at best, again, it's an implied threat, and you could say that it's an intimidation tactic. Because you literally have this Ray Harpy person showing emojis, which again, yeah, that might be, look at that and say, hey, it's an implied threat, and then saying this Luna is gone. But again, a good attorney is going to tear that apart, right? They're going to say, oh, you know what I mean? But is that what they were really saying though? I mean,
for a fact. And I'm sure it will all come out eventually. He fucked up and it is what it is. Since you doxed me, people have flooded to my Twitter account, flooded to my Instagram, and have been commenting and tweeting replies to pictures of my children, saying those comments on a picture of my daughter saying, oh, she's stolen, this, that, and the other, you're kidnapping kids, you're raping people.
Oh, and by the way, yeah, nobody do this. I know that you guys here in the chat, in my audience, and I said this before, right? Don't contact anybody, right? Don't contact Ohm. Don't contact Liz, Delirious, Amy, nobody, even though their stuff is out there now, just don't. I mean, there's nothing, no matter how you feel about the situation, obviously I condemn this targeted harassment of any kind. I mean, don't make threats towards anybody. Don't troll them. Nothing. Just let them be. Let them be.
All this fucked up stuff. Saying that my son deserves to be upset because I had a tweet up about saying he was scared and he was crying as because we had our power out, and someone goes, good, he deserves it, or something along those lines. Either way, whatever it was. Do you condone that behavior? Do you condone people talking on other people's kids? Because it's scummy. It's the lowest of the low. Is that the kind of people you really want backing you? Is that the kind of people you want speaking for you? And if I remember correctly, Ohm had a tweet up when all this started. Ohm tweeted, it wasn't even bad. He said that he just felt sorry for you and your baby. Having to be involved in all of this. That was not malicious. It wasn't bad. He genuinely felt sorry for you and your baby because, it's not a nice.
See, I will disagree with her on this point. I don't think that Ohm genuinely felt sorry for her and her baby. I come back to what I said a little bit earlier, right? We don't know what people's true intentions are. And just because people are saying stuff online, that the things, we don't know their true character, right? Just because of how they portray themselves in YouTube videos or on Twitter or whatever. We don't know what's truly in people's hearts. Can make it seem like, oh, I was just trying to be nice, a nice guy when I said that. We don't know that. We don't know that. So her bringing this up is, it's not, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Her saying, oh, that wasn't bad. Why is Omi even addressing Liz at that point, right? And saying that, I mean, people are going to perceive stuff however they're going to perceive it. This whole idea that people say that they think, oh, I feel bad for you and your kid over this. Why? You know what I mean? And how do you know the fact that they're bringing that up, that they actually care? You don't know that. You don't know that. So I don't think that her bringing this up, I think is entirely irrelevant. Trying to make a plea for being this nice guy, and that he meant nothing malicious behind it. That's whatever.
Nice thing, all this drama going on. And people jumped on him. People attacked him.
Oh,
saying,
poor
how dare you bring their baby into it, and whatever. And he deleted the tweet in the end, even though it wasn't talking bad on your baby. Like, again, trust me, I would not want anything to do with anyone who talked bad on anyone's baby. But he was attacked for it, and I find it very hypocritical of these people saying, oh my god, how dare her baby be brought into it, but it's fine for them to bring my baby into it, my children.
No, it's not fine. It's not fine. And I'll say that again, right? I disavow that completely, right? It's not fine for people to harass her over her kids or anything like that, or harass her in any way. It's not fine. And most people would agree with that. But here's the thing. What we have in this space, right, is, again, regardless of who it is, once they've built up a substantial following, there's going to be people that they feel the need to defend these creators that they put on a pedestal, that they put, that they idolize, that they think can do no wrong in their eyes, no matter what. It's an unfortunate reality of building up a fan base here on this platform. I'm sure I might even have some fans that would do stuff like that. Now, I would tell you, I would tell any of you, like I said, any of my fans, to never do things like this, to never try to attack anybody on my behalf, regardless of what they would say about me or otherwise. I don't want that. You know what I mean? And you would not be doing me any favors by doing that. It's wrong. You just shouldn't do it. But unfortunately, no matter what you say, there is going to be people that do it sometimes. And most creators will condemn that. They will disavow that. Like I do. You know what I mean? But it's part of being on the internet. The internet is still like the Wild Wild West in that sense. Just people are going to do what people want to do. And sometimes it's not even people that are your fans that are doing it. There's people that might say that they are, and they just want to cause trouble. Think about this for a moment, right? And this is a completely unrelated thing, but just to give an example here, okay? When Bianca Devins passed away, right? That was the streamer that unfortunately lost her life, right? Think about this for a moment, okay? The pictures of her grisly, offing, I won't say the M word because I mean this stream is probably demonetized already anyways. Those pictures were shared to, I believe, 4chan, okay? And there's people that shared those pictures, and when the whole thing with Gabby Hanna happened, right, where with Gabby Hanna and the T channels, where the Devins family was getting, harassed again because it came back up again, there was people that had saved those pictures and were sending it. They were sending those pictures, those horrible pictures, to the family. There's just people online that do really messed up shit sometimes. It's unfortunate, but it's true, because they feel emboldened by the anonymity they feel that they have on the internet. So there's people that will do messed up shit, sometimes not even when prompted, just because they want to. It's sad, but it's one of the realities of being online. You know what I mean? Especially when you put yourself out there online. And it sucks. That doesn't excuse it, but it's Like I said, if people are willing, think about that for a moment. If people are willing to go to that length, right, where they would send pictures, gruesome pictures of somebody's murdered kid to them, right? You know, all bets are off, right? Heinous people like that unfortunately exist. Let me get this chat by Zombie Fox. Thank you so much for the 5, buddy. Nothing related to the topic, but Louis is abusing a power dynamic in chat. He accidentally timed out Made. Also, it's fine, but gave another super chat. Appreciate it, buddy. And thank you for letting me know that. Let's continue on here, though. So, all right. Let's see. Let's go back to the video.
Time for, you know, like it's not right. And it can't be, oh, well, it's fine to like bring her child into it, but not her child. You know, kids should be kept out of it. End off. Like regardless of whose kid it is or whatever, kids should be kept out of the drama.
100% agree with her on that. 100% agree with her. Kids, you know, don't involve people that are not directly involved in the situation ever. Not just kids, but anybody else, right? Not parents, not, you know, siblings, nothing, you know, people that are unrelated to the topic at hand should not be involved. Now, if they involve themselves, it's a little bit different, right? If like one of her friends decided to jump into this stuff with her to defend her, she decided to involve herself. But people that are completely just unwitting in the situation should not be involved, right? Thank you, Mr. Jack, the ripoff, for the 5. To those that stuck on her not showing emails and proof, they better keep the same energy for Delirious, considering he's shown none either. Oh no, believe me, there. That's the thing too. Like when it came to the Twitter suspension, right? I said it multiple times because he didn't show anything. You know what I mean? Still hasn't, right? To validate his claim, and even in Liz's video, she didn't show any emails. You know what I mean? There was an admission. That's about it, right? On behalf of Delirious. And that's where we're at. Like I said, we're not we're not much closer to knowing what the truth actually is. You know, we've gotten clarification on certain details. That's about it.
Again, like if that's the kind of behavior you condone, then that speaks volumes. Also, there's a lot I could bring up. You went digging into my past and brought up stuff. I could easily bring up your past. And I could sit here and I could be like, oh, you did this and you did that and you were involved in this scandal. And I'm not going to, because I don't think it's relevant to the situation. I don't want to assassinate your character. Like, it's...
And that's fair. And to her point thus far, I will say this: she hasn't done that, and it's good that she didn't. She hasn't just resorted to the character attacks.
I'm just not that pathetic, and I'm not going to stoop that low. But one thing I do want to mention is, again, people being hypocrites. So when Sai spoke up and came out with her allegations, her mental health was attacked an insane amount because old tweets were found of her tweeting when she was in a bad place, and people took it and they spun it and said, oh, she's clearly mentally ill, she's clearly a liar, she cannot be trusted because she has mental health issues, which is disgusting.
What's up, girl?
Hey, wait, can you pause it really quick?
What's up, bud?
Okay, so first off, hello. But also, you know how you said that she wasn't resorting to character attacks?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. She kind of was, right? Because she goes, I wouldn't do that because I'm not that pathetic.
Yeah, I know. I know that was before I realized. I guess that's a little bit of shade right there. Yeah, I realized that, right? She said, because I'm not that pathetic. I'm just like a little shade thrown. But
look,
in fairness, she didn't get into. Yeah, she didn't get into any details though after that, which is
no, she did.
Because as soon as she said that, I was like, is she gonna say something now? She's gonna say, but this, that, or the other after that, and she didn't. but she just threw a little shade.
Yeah.
So
I was just saying, like, you know, for that point to really have stuck with me, she would have had to have like not fucking done that with that last thing.
Yeah, but even still, like I said,
No,
I'll give her a pass on that. I see that she threw a little shade, but she didn't. What would have destroyed it, right? If she would have said, "I'm not that pathetic," and then launched into a full out, character attack after that. Outside of that, it's like, oh no, you were doing so well up to this point. All right, let's.
The point here is, Liz, you had a video of something that happened to you at Burning Man. I really, truly, I'm sorry if, this happened to you. The point I'm trying to make is, Liz, you have publicly tweeted about your own mental health issues before. Nothing to be ashamed of. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do here at all. I'm not trying to shit on people with mental health issues or, bring up your trauma. Like, I'm not. Like, I'm just trying to make one simple point here is you also have mental health issues. And you put out this video saying what happened to you. But if you're going to attack Sai and say she clearly lied because she has mental health issues, like this didn't happen to her. People with mental health issues can't be trusted. She's clearly lying. Then surely people could spin that and say, well, Liz, you could easily be lying about what happened to you at Burning Man.
And I thought this is actually a very good point that she makes here, and one that I actually agree with. She's right. Because just because the girl Sai was an edgy, just troublemaking youth doesn't necessarily mean that she was lying about the situation as it pertains to Delirious, right?
Yeah.
Those things can be separate of each other. But again, look, we know how this all goes, right? Whenever things go public, the easiest way for people to try to discredit others is to immediately go to the character attacks.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the easiest way because again, if you show that somebody's a shitty person, then it's easier. You paint that picture about them being a shitty person. It's going to make it easier to tell people, don't believe them because look how shitty they are. But people that are actually paying attention that look at more than that. Okay, but what does that have to, because people that are rational, they'll look outside of that and be like, okay, but what does that have to do with this? Because that seems like a big deflection, right? That you're just going to that character attack.
So when it came to the Sai girl, Delirious and Liz Cat, I believe Liz Cat was also part of that, right?
Yep. Okay. I think she said a couple things. I think she might have retweeted a couple things and
I think her, I think that she
things
was
like that.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
And remember what we said. Remember, I said this, and I think we talked about it back on the streams on Crows. But remember, I had also said, I thought it was interesting the way each situation, right, the Breland to the side to the Sarah situation, the reactions were different in each one of those situations, and that was something to take note of. Again, not a smoking gun, and obviously, I'm not drawing any specific conclusion from that. I'm just saying it was something worthy of note. When you look at the bigger picture. Let me get this one for Zombie Fox. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you for the 5. Wow, Sherlock, everyone on Earth has mental issues. This is why I keep mine offline of this exactly. That way I can only get furry insults. Oh, Zombie. But
don't you encourage that behavior.
You were going to say something? Crow?
Oh, honestly, when I look at it, I completely get the. I feel like this girl is going to do that only because I'm looking at it like a human element. I'm not saying it's a good thing. It's just I don't think it necessarily proves that they don't have anything when they do that. I just think that Liz Cat is like, we're starting a family. He's my baby daddy, and fuck them. I don't think she gives a shit about their stories whatsoever, but like that kind of makes sense to me because, I mean, just, right? Like, I don't even know how to like line there.
Well, think about this. think about this, and it's something that she brought up earlier herself. It's just
Mhm.
like, that nobody, when it comes to kids, people are going to react, and that's a fair point, right? That's a
Yeah.
fair point for her to make, and I agreed with that point.
Because
But if you look at
I remember one of the statements from like one of the accusers was something like, "Oh, even if he gets arrested, you can still get child support out of him," like shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah, look,
she's you know what I mean. Like I wouldn't imagine she would then sit there and go like, "I must treat these people like they are true victims
of course.
because they have been traumatized." Like, come on,
Well,
no.
look at it like this, right? When we look at when we flip that situation around again, and like I said, Amy brought that up before, and it was a good point for her to bring up. Hey, all bets are off when it comes to kids and stuff like that. But you also
Yeah.
have to look at it from the perspective of where
I don't think
and
it's
I'm not saying
helpful.
Liz is innocent, right?
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not
look,
saying
I'm
Liz
just
is
saying
innocent, but
I'm
what I'm
not saying
saying
it's
is
helpful. I just mean
no,
like
it's
I
not.
can kind
It's
of
not.
understand where it's coming from.
Yeah,
But
it's one of those things. Remember, we talked about this before, right? And
yeah,
with other creators, I would say, right? Like we have a mutual friend that is a larger creator, right? I'm not going to say who it is, but remember when he was dealing with somebody who had told another creator on the platform that was smaller, but remember that creator was basically advocating for people to go flag his channel and video. I'm sure you know what
yeah,
I'm referring to, right?
yeah. I remember.
And his response to it was to be like, he basically went ham on it. And if you know who this guy is, the way this guy is, I look at it like this, right? Because I know the kind of person that he is and the way he responded to that situation. He did it because it's like he's the kind of person that looks at it like, okay, you're telling people to come and flag my video, okay, which could adversely affect my channel, which then takes money, away from me, which then takes food out of my kid's mouth. I don't appreciate that. So fuck you.
Yeah, well, I mean that makes sense.
Now you're on my shit list. You see what I'm saying?
Well, see, like I said, that makes sense. I try to say like, when she's attacking that girl and saying she's crazy and shit. I mean, like, I don't think she's doing it because like I don't have anything I can do to stop her. I think it's more like, look at what they're doing to me. Look what they're doing to my family. They're terrible people. They have no soul. Like shit like that, right?
Of course,
but people do think it,
Oh yeah, of course. The easiest way is to get into the mud with people, for sure.
Yeah,
mudslinging is always it shouldn't be the first option, but it always seems to be people's favorite option.
To be fair, like here's the problem. Some of the accusers, I'm not saying all, I'm really not, but there was like one in particular that I can I'm not going to name here right now, who said some of the most fucked up shit about Delirious, right? And so I'm sure she's like looking and going like, why would I like treat these people with respect? Look what they're saying about me and my family.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's just how they're going to think about it. But I don't think it's helpful. I don't think it does anything. I don't think it proves anything. I don't think it resolves anything that's going on. It's just going to make people get more suspicious that, oh, why are you responding it to this way, right? Like, because that's what everybody does.
Yeah, it draws attention. So
yeah, exactly.
Let me all right, let me give these super chats real quick. Thank you, Demon King Drago, for the 5 zombie fox furry, LOL. And then he says conferative. I think we're caught up there. Okay, so let's get back to this video real quick because we're almost to the end. So only 4 minutes.
Because you too have mental health issues, and I just want to clear up. I just want to make it very, very clear. I'm not saying that it didn't happen to you. Like I said, I really am sorry if you did go through that. But my point is, it's very hypocritical of you to attack her mental health and say she can't, like, to discredit her. She cannot be trusted because she has mental health issues when you too have mental health issues and have not made any secret of that. Like I said, it shouldn't be kept secret. Like, it's nothing to be ashamed of. But just don't be a hypocrite, okay?
And that's fair. Like I said, that's fair for her to bring up.
So I think I've kind of said everything I need to say here.
See, okay, but like, what's the timestamp on this right now?
24:38.
Okay, it takes 24 minutes for her to get to a good point.
I mean, she made a couple before, but again, there's few and far between. The thing is,
here's the thing, right? I did not like that. You know, this video, it's like titled, or it's in the description, something like the truth about the H2O Delirious suspension.
Well, Liz Cat lied about me for H2O Delirious. Why Delirious was suspended from Twitter?
Okay. I do not like that. Okay, there are only two things that she shows her. One is good for her. That is her ID, right?
Yes.
But like we've talked about, there are too many statements online of her joking, in her words, about being an adult, right? And
yeah,
if he was to try to look into it, right?
Well, that's something.
That's what
I addressed earlier. I addressed that earlier because when she was saying that, right? When she was saying that, haven't people heard of inside jokes before? I get what you're saying, right? I get what she's saying by it, but here's the thing: the presumption there is that everybody else is going to be in on the joke, and the thing
exactly.
And the thing is, that's not how people online operate. They take things at face value because they really can only take them at face value.
You know,
they know you.
I got sent a tweet from like 2013 from this girl, right? Doing the, talking about like going out and drinking wine instead of going out with like a 28-year-old dude and his friends.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's if you're telling me these are all jokes, they're weird jokes. I don't think anyone else understands them. And if he goes ahead and tries to like just say, okay, let's just like look into her, right? He's going to look at a few tweets and just see that. Like, come on. And then if you're telling me you told him what your age was, but you don't have any proof of it, I mean, this is literally the fucking James Charles shit again.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it could have happened. I'm not saying it's not possible. It's just like, but you don't have anything you can like say to prove that it did, or that like he knew what her actual age was. He does have that message with Liz Cat from 2019, which importantly is 4 or 5 years after he had talked with her. I think 4 years, right? But in it, he's asking for age. So let's say he was completely irresponsible. He wasn't asking for girls' ages and shit like that. Clearly, by 2019, he had either cleaned up his act or learned, and he's not intending to go after 17-year-olds or anything stupid like that. I'm saying because she was 17 at the time, based on her ID. But that's if I'm being like super charitable to her, right? And also not being like, he's a pervert pedophile and shit. But she doesn't have any evidence of it. So I have to look at it this way, right? I have a guy, okay? A guy who has been lied about before, who I have seen false statements about before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And currently, I have to say, whether or not he's a pedophile or that he's like into underage minors. That's the way of saying it, because a pedophile implies like
yes.
But I have to say that about him when there is no evidence of it. There is no proof that he is targeting children. And when I can see his behavior with women today, because that's the only thing I can have to look at, because nobody has any fucking screenshots, he's asking for age. Well, so I don't know what you want here. Do you want him punished, right? Do you want revenge against him because you feel he wronged you? Because like, it's clearly not that you want him to take responsibility and accountability if he's asking for age. In the one message we do have, there's only one message here, and it's from him, and it's showing that. And she said that really stupid fucking statement. Did you already play it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go over that.
Oh my god! Oh my fucking god!
I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna go back just to get to that. But let's finish out her video here real quick.
I don't want to get nasty. I don't want to be petty here. But basically, all I want to say is people can attack me on Twitter and call me a liar and call me names, call me fat. Like, I'm literally pregnant, so okay. They can call me a whore. They can call. I don't care. I do not know these people. I do not care what they have to say about me. They are probably teenage boys, with crusty socks on their floor. I do not care about their opinion on me whatsoever. What I do care about is the opinion of the police. So
Okay, stop, pause it,
because I think
No,
I know
no,
where
no,
you're
no,
gonna go.
no. Okay, where am I gonna go? What am I gonna say? What am I gonna say? What am I gonna say?
Obviously, my thing would be this, right? Hearing something like that, I only care about the opinion of the police. My immediate response to that would be like, then why'd you make this video?
No, I wasn't gonna say that.
You know what I mean?
No, well, I mean
if what mattered,
that too.
because to me, look,
Okay,
the reason
that
I say
too,
that,
but that's not
the reason why. The reason I
Yeah.
say that is because obviously, it sounds to me you care about the opinion of the police, so you care about getting justice. Okay,
Mhm.
you don't care about responding to people online, then don't. You know what I'm saying? Just don't. Just be like, all right, I care about what the police are going to do. Let the police handle it.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
that's part of it, but the other thing is she was saying the police, right? Police are handling it, police, right?
Yep.
Why are the police investigating it?
Well, remember this. She says that they are. She claims that they are.
No. That's not what I'm asking. The relationship, which they would be investigating, right, would have been between a 17-year-old in Ireland, where age of consent is 17, right?
Mhm.
It's wouldn't because she said police. She didn't say FBI because I think that Ohm had said FBI. It's curious. Maybe she misspoke. But I just find it curious, you know?
Yeah. It's a good point. Good point by Crow. Hold on, let me get this. 5 from Zombie. Thank you so much, buddy. He says, okay, liar.
God damn.
Zombie, always.
All I want from this whole situation is for the truth to come out, and it will. And people are gonna be like, oh, well, when? Like, you know, I don't know. I'm not the police. I'm working with the police, but I can't say what they're doing, what their every move is. What my biggest, like, people are like, oh, Jill, like, haha, she's getting so much hate. She deserves a dumb bitch, whatever. That's fine, because that's the worst that's going to happen to me.
Can you pause it
right now? Like, you know, that's
okay. Look, here, the thing that I really I struggle with this. They are calling him a pedophile, right? I mean, I get that the comments are mean and shit, but like, you know, he's got like what 5 million subscribers and shit. If 0.01% of his fan base are psychotic little fucking nerds, you're gonna have, you know, at least what, like, what's the math breakdown to on that? I don't know exactly what his subscriber count. I just mean like you're gonna have at least a handful of psycho people that, you know, he's not endorsing, leaving you nasty comments. But remember, like, I've seen the accusers. You're calling him a pedophile. All right, that's a bad thing. That's a real bad thing to call someone if you can't prove it.
It's the most heinous thing you could really call somebody online right now without any evidence outside of obviously being a murder, right? It would be that, you know what I mean? In this space, especially like the YouTube space in 2021.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to be like, I don't understand why people are upset, you know. I could understand that. But remember, you're calling him a pedophile. Right? That's a bad thing to call somebody. Look how they think. You haven't shown any evidence. You haven't proven anything. And you're sitting here calling them a pedophile. And guess what? People don't fucking like that.
Well, no, because again, and this is what we've always talked about. And again, for people that are first-time viewers, our stance has always been consistent with that, because that is something that could have real-world consequences on somebody. It could have consequences on their livelihood. It could have, you know what I mean? It could potentially do them some kind of harm, because you don't know how crazy people are going to react to a situation like that. If they see somebody in real life, it's one of those things you got to be very careful with what you say. You know what I mean? Now, granted, Delirious has the benefit of nobody having ever seen his face, right? So if he goes out into the public, unless somebody immediately recognizes his voice, there, you know, he has at least that.
Okay.
Is the anonymity that nobody has seen his face.
Stop.
Business opportunities.
Stop. Okay, wait. Voice identification? They didn't record any of this stuff.
No. That's not what I'm talking about, Crow. I'm talking about unless somebody actually, because people only know Delirious's voice from his videos. That's it. They don't know what he looks like.
Yeah, that's true.
Delirious. What I'm saying is Delirious. It would be relatively safe in the sense.
Well, so
that
these girls have
in real
basically
life-
said that they've never seen his face either. So like, I just don't understand what you can actually do. Okay, like that's kind of an important thing when you're like making these types of accusations. Like, what are you actually going to be able to do here? It's because it seems nonsensical to me, right? It seems very nonsensical to me that this is the approach that they're taking.
Yeah, I don't think she went to the police. I don't think there was an investigation.
I mean, like,
This
I
was-
don't either, because she screwed up and said police, and the police in Ireland aren't going to investigate a legal consenting relationship because age of consent, they're 17. God damn,
Yeah.
like,
the
like-
whole thing would be that. Well, remember, she had mentioned earlier about the CP stuff, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
that again, and we've always said this. I know I've always said it. I said the one thing that they could get him on, if for whatever reason it went that far, which I don't think it will, would be if they subpoenaed his devices or whatever, or were able to find any kind of trace online that he received any CP, then he'd be in some trouble. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Regardless of whether he knew the age or not, right? Then he'd be in some trouble. That's where he might actually catch some heat or some charges. But again, that's if it even were to get that far.
Yeah, I mean, like, the idea that it would is where I'm just like, no. Like, and again, how many times have we heard admissions that they don't have evidence? Okay,
Yep.
and you've said it in your own fucking videos. Can you imagine like the cops trying to go to court and the girls like say they have proven it, and they have all this evidence, and like the defense attorney's like, this is you saying that you have no evidence. This is you saying that you have no evidence. This is you saying.
Remember, and just to clarify, because she did say in this video, it's just like all the evidence I have, I've given it to the police. It's not for Twitter or anything like that. And maybe she does have something, but again, look, it would go a much longer way, right? Because you're doing this thing that Alma has been doing, right? Where he's just like, there's evidence, it exists, can't show it because reasons, and it's just like, well, then why say anything? Like, stop saying stuff. Just let it play out then. Because again, if you don't have anything to show for it, what sense is there in even mentioning it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, that seems completely counterproductive to do that. Just real quick, let me get this super chat. Thank you, Ari, for the 10. Appreciate it. Because I haven't donated in a while. Hope your night goes well. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let's finish up this video, and then I want to get to that point that you were referring to earlier. I'm gonna play that. Because I didn't get a chance to address it before.
The situation for me is a few people on Twitter don't like me. Not everyone's gonna like me. I literally could not care less.
Yeah.
What Liz and Delirious need to be concerned about.
No. Sen. Come on. Like, she's so brave and stunning and brave.
Or YouTube or, any of that. What they need to be concerned about is the police right now.
Oh my goodness.
Because the opinion of
she said police again.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean shit. The opinion of the police does.
Oh.
3 times.
The police have all the evidence they need.
4 times.
Police.
People can say I'm lying.
You are.
If I was, why would I go to the police? They would laugh
5
me out
times.
if I didn't have some
That's a
proof
counter.
to back up what I'm trying to say.
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
don't get me wrong. Like, I'm willing to believe that she misspoke, but she
sure
keeps saying police, not
Which-
FBI.
Which leads, whatever.
Oh my god.
There's that. We'll address that, girl. We'll address that in the wrap up. But let me.
I don't think we're addressing it fast enough, but fine.
Because I wanted to address something that she said earlier that I didn't get a chance
enough
to.
dirt on you to murder you.
So let me go a little bit back. Let me see if I remember where it's at.
I
Here.
remember that.
So this is the inside joke. So
What are we looking for?
and what, like, all you seem to have
Sen.
no proof, just old tweets of
Just so
mine
you know,
taken out of
I'm playing
trying to
Overwatch
find-
right now.
there's a
Give me your,
part-
5 months
You can add
later,
me.
you
Give me your
decided to
thing, I'll
make
add
a
you.
video on it?
put it in private chat.
Why did it take
Okay.
so long? And why 12? It's just they're younger than you.
All right, hold on. I'm trying to find. There's something that she
Dude,
said. Do you
John,
know the
what-
timestamp of it,
So
Crow?
that's the main thing I
Huh?
wanted to just
Hold on.
clear up.
Maybe it's
I was
here.
not
Hold on.
20
Wait,
back
hit
then.
pause.
Liz has just taken tweets out of context.
Do you know the
Well,
timestamp for what we had discussed earlier?
Oh, wait. For which thing?
The thing and the stuff.
Which
Hold on. I think
one?
it's around here. I think it's
Oh,
around the 5-minute mark. Hold on. Actually, I think it's coming up here. Hold on. So just bear
We
with me.
talked about a few
There's
things.
a lot
Yeah,
of
we
tweets
talked
that were
about
taken
one.
out of context in that video.
I think she says it right around this
one of which
this part.
I will hold my hands up. It does make me look very, very bad.
So
The song lyrics.
The song
A
lyrics
lot.
one.
And
Hold on, because there is something that she says here that I didn't get a chance to address
so
before.
again, that doesn't prove anything. Yes, I was underage drinking. These are very embarrassing. I would tweet at celebrities.
So let's see. This is when she's talking about that.
I would partake in like games that find
Oh my
their
god.
issue
Okay,
because
She meandered a
There you
lot.
go.
That's
There
not
you go,
the case.
said. There you go, said.
We found it?
No. It's how look at how long it's taking. Look, it's
Oh yeah, no.
Liz
Yeah.
when she was on Twitter, she was like, she took one tweet out of
context,
context. And you know, she's spending a lot of time on one
She
tweet
made
because there was a
it,
lot
Yeah,
of
yeah,
shit.
It's almost as long as Liz, right?
Look, let me give a scenario where it's not malicious, right? Where it is not malicious, right?
Mm.
And this is where I'm not malicious for anyone. Okay, what?
Highlight
Tricky D 18.
Comment. Good point. Let me see what Tricky D said.
The old one? Or the
And
newest one?
thank Zombie Fox here.
Oh god damn, that's hilarious.
No way FBI or police are involved with this girl's accusations because Amy admitted to trying to contact Liz. Anyone involved in a case wouldn't contact the other party. An interesting point. That's an interesting. That's a pretty.
Well, also she did this video about Liz, right? Like she said, Liz Katz lied about me. Like Liz isn't involved in any sort of police investigation again, which is strange. But she's claiming to be involved in one. Like this would, god damn, like I don't understand why people don't like get that when you do shit like this, it jeopardizes any sort of criminal investigation.
People aren't
you're drawing
smart.
unnecessary attention to it. That's for one. And the other thing too, you're tipping again. We've said this a bunch of times. Crow, and I mentioned this earlier before you were here. When you had to deal with reporting people to the police, when you and Aura did, you guys were told explicitly because it had to do with similar allegations as this, right? You were told explicitly not to talk about it online at all, not to address it, nothing. Like mum's the word, basically.
Yeah.
Like not to talk about it. Just no, because we don't want to tip this person off.
Yeah.
You know?
I wanted to say something about the police thing. Like I know it's nitpicky and she's saying police. But I think if it's international, you're not dealing with police anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, look, if she's reporting it to international, it would be investigated by the FBI over here because he's committed a federal crime, right?
Yep.
So, like, that's why I keep saying FBI, 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 FBI. At one point, just say the fucking FBI. But instead, it's police, 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 which is why I'm saying it's bullshit. And here's the thing, because I know Omrecker, I'm like 95% certain he just didn't vet anything because I just think he's too stupid to do that, right? So he doesn't vet anything, okay? And then now you have this situation, okay? If he's not checking into it and she's claiming, oh, there's this investigation, that's why I can't talk about it, I'm sure what's going through his head is, oh my goodness, oh no, okay, all right, I believe every fucking thing that you are saying to me. Everybody, there's a police investigation going on. Oh my god, dude, it's you know what's even better. Hold on, I'm sure that when she said police, he probably said, "You mean the FBI?" And she said, "Oh yeah, the FBI," and he went, "Okay."
Oh, geez.
But it could, real quick, it could also be that their local police department contacted his local police department too. So like there is like probably a small filing or something like that was put on paper in a police department. So that could be true as well.
But they're not handling the investigation, right? They're not investigating it. They keep saying the police are investigating it. But the local the FBI would be doing it, and they might have the police contact her to like speak with the FBI, right? Because the FBI would need to talk to her directly. But again, they've already said there's no evidence of any of this having ever occurred. So, like, why would the FBI investigate that? They keep saying they have no evidence.
I just don't understand though. Like I don't know why there's more stuff coming out. Whether she chose to defend herself or not. Like I don't think that. Like I don't think Liz should have made a video. I don't think this girl should have made a video. I think that everyone should have just let it lie if there's an investigation, or they can lay there lying. Like that's it. There's only two ways to go about it. And like the more I see action like this, the more I don't see things to be really happening. Because at what point would they be like, hey, like police chief or agent, do you think this is a good idea if I upload this right here? And they're just like, yeah, go for it. You got the green light from us.
That like it's not going to happen. They're not going to just. We keep saying it. We keep saying it over and over and over again, and then these idiots keep doing it, and like they keep claiming that they go to the police, and the police are totally okay with them doing this shit. I don't get how that fucking works.
No, me neither.
Damn.
So I think I found the part in the video that I wanted to address. I didn't get to address earlier. So
another thing
right here. This part
that
here,
Liz is very adamant about is that her boyfriend, H2O Delirious, definitely asks every girl their age before he starts talking to them.
So I addressed part of this, but there's another part of this that I wanted
her
to
age when they started talking.
address.
And I think 2019 the DM was from. Just because he asked her age in 2019 doesn't mean back then in like Joe 2015, Joe, and whenever he was talking to the other girls, it doesn't mean that he asked ages back then. I'm not saying he didn't ask other girls. I don't know their full stories. He didn't ask me my age. And I find it very, very convenient that those DMs just happen to be gone because.
Okay. Hit pause.
So I don't. Let me get this one first because this is something that I had noticed earlier. And I didn't get a chance to address it. Okay. So I think this is a stupid point for her to make. And the reason why is because she's talking about how it's convenient that those are gone. Like like she's expecting that the guy that she's accusing to keep something or to show something that would potentially incriminate him. You know what I mean?
Okay. That's not what I was going to say. That's not what I was going to say.
It's a stupid fucking point to make.
I completely agree.
Because it's just like, well, I mean, why would he, if they did exist, why would he keep them? Here's an even better question too, right? She's saying that I find it convenient that that those messages are deleted or whatever, right? Well, why didn't you save them?
Okay.
Why didn't you save them? Or why isn't it convenient that you don't have them either?
John, go back like 10 seconds and play again. I think 10 seconds is good. Oh no, go back a little bit more. 10 more seconds. Okay, just hit play now. Yeah.
Joe, and whenever he was talking to the other girls, it doesn't mean that he asked ages back then. I'm not saying he didn't ask other girls. I don't know their full stories. He didn't ask me my age. And I find it very, very convenient that those DMs just happen to be gone.
Okay. Hit pause here. Now, let me give you the scenario where nobody is a bad, terrible person, right? He never asked her age. She is like, she's okay. She's not saying I told him my age. She's saying, we talked about our lives and things relevant to my age. Okay. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay, all right. No. Here's the one where nobody is a bad person. Nobody is a terrible human being. Delirious saw her post that said that she was 20 and shit, and where she was talking about going to bars and shit.
Or
right?
maybe
she was
didn't
talking.
Even see that. But
I'm just saying maybe
he
he saw that. Right. So maybe he didn't think to ask for her age because he had already seen that shit, and that's when he contacted her. Right. Yeah. And then maybe she never tells him her age because. You know, there's a lot of messages talking about wanting to hook up with older dudes, and he's an older dude, right? So they're not horrible, terrible human beings in that scenario. But here's the thing I don't like. Claims of fucking grooming, claims of abuse, shit like that. it doesn't sound like anything like that is going on here. I mean, the stuff with this baby being threatened and everything. Did you already talk about that?
Yeah. I already went over that.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. If Delirious did it, hang him up by his balls. Absolutely. That's even if you didn't do the other shit, what the fuck are you doing?
But even
the fucking baby.
But
right?
even
Like,
here's the other thing with that I should once again point out.
Yeah,
that's more of an implied threat or intimidation tactic. It's not
either way.
Either way.
But
it can be perceived as such. Right?
Either way, it is disgusting on every fucking level. But you've shown nothing to prove that the accounts are related. Okay, and I know for a fact that Twitter is not going to give you a fucking statement. And well, I do believe, because I think I put the tweet out today. Ohmbrecker has stated in in TJV's own live chat that he does have people that work at Twitter, right? And like he said, but Delirious has more though. I'm like, dude, here's the problem. They're saying that Delirious is harassing Ohmbrecker, and I can actually believe that, right? I can absolutely fucking believe that. Okay, based on their history, I can totally believe that Delirious is doing gay op shit to fuck around with Ohmbrecker, because I'm going to openly admit I wanted to do some heinous ass shit to fuck with Ohmbrecker because he really pisses me off. I really think he deserves it. But I'm just saying. I can understand that thing. And then he has art evidence that Delirious is harassing him. So that's why he gets his account suspended. Because he does have hard evidence that he is using his alt accounts to go harass him. But again, that doesn't mean that he's running the accounts that are harassing these girls. It literally doesn't. And you show nothing to connect anything. What? Because Ohmbrecker says they all got suspended around the same time. And it's this investigation. They didn't give you anything in writing. Okay? They did not give you anything in fucking writing, and they never fucking will. And whatever source, whatever buddy that you have at Twitter, he is not going to give you a written fucking statement without losing his goddamn job. So again, you don't have anything.
No.
Zombie Fox with the 5, appreciate it, bud. Thank you.
Crow.
Had him on Twitter after she stopped talking to him in 2016 and 2019, but she was so scared and totally was groomed, is what Zombie Fox says.
Oof.
Yeah, like here's the thing, right? You tagged Ohmbrecker, okay, on Twitter, all right, and I'm going to show it on my stream, because I'm going to have to head out here in just a couple seconds. But you tagged him when she said that she was going to do the video, and you said, do you support this? Do you really think this is a good idea? You were fucking warning him. So like Ohmbrecker, at the very fucking least, should have watched her video first and told her, hey, you need to correct this. You need to correct this. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? What is fucking wrong with him?
He's
acting as their fucking advocate, and he's letting them do fucking stupid ass shit, and he's not even just double checking it first.
It's better. It's better for us.
Proofread these accusations, you motherfucker.
No, keep fucking up, please. It's fun.
Oh my god. Oh, Steve says it's another make riff, and I completely agree.
So I want to highlight a comment from buddy Stan Dolan in the chat.
Stan Dolan's in the chat. Hi, Stan.
Oh no, I doxed him. I should have said that.
What?
I should have said that.
Wait. Oh,
no,
god damn it. God damn you, John.
But I should get better by just calling him Toyman.
There you go.
That sounds like someone else who said the same thing, or is it just me? I think we know who he's referring to there, right? So,
all right. I gotta hop on and get my stream ready. We're gonna be jumping over the same topic, but we're gonna watch the entire thing in full.
Yeah,
are you getting on, or what the fuck?
Yeah, I am, but I got to get into my stream. Dude.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm there, so just invite me.
I know. I'll be there in a second, Pookums.
You fucking told me to do it. What? I was fucking eating, and he's like, "Fucking go."
Right, so let me go ahead, because we're gonna wrap it up here soon, because Crow's gonna be starting up his stream. We'll go over there, but let me go ahead and get his thing ready. But We'll go into his details in it. But yeah, I mean, that was the last thing I really wanted to go over was that part there where she was talking, where she brought up the point of, oh, conveniently that stuff is not available. Well, I mean, even if he was still on Twitter, what would make you think that he would ever show it, right? Why would you, you know, I mean, obviously, yeah, conveniently it is gonna be deleted because if you say that it's proof against him, he's not gonna inconvenience himself by keeping it, right? But I also find it convenient that you don't have it either, that you don't have evidence either. So I thought it was a dumb point for her to bring up regarding that. It's just kind of one of those things that goes nowhere. It's just like, okay, it's not a good point because, yeah, I mean, why would he ever share or keep anything that would potentially incriminate him? So that's the link to Crow's stream, though. But we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. I appreciate you all joining me for this stream.
No, wait.
What? Wait. What? Does Louis have something to say? Louis, say something.
No, because they said proofread. Like,
Would you want to proofread?
No, not proofread, but he was talking about people proofreading, and it's just like Cyan's boyfriend was proofreading her Twitlonger and stuff before like they sent it out. That kind of proofread.
Yep, proofreading.
And no, the other thing I wanted to say though, for real, was like about like this whole, if you take everything she says, like let's just say like people couldn't lie, and she says the police are investigating and everything. I don't think making a video is a good idea.
No, and that's why I tweeted to Ohm, because you have Ohm's. Ohm is one of the people that he's been beating that drum, right? Hey, there's a police investigation going on. There's stuff that we can't share because there's a police investigation going on. Okay, then why you're saying that this is one of the people involved in that, right? This is one of the quote unquote victims of Delirious who says that they've gone to the police. She has said that publicly. You vouched for that. And you've also said you yourself that you have gone to the police. So why are you signal boosting her video? You know what I mean? And saying, you know what I mean? It's just like it's dumb. It's just like that's why I asked him, do you agree with taking this approach? And not because she doesn't have the right to.
Did he respond to you?
He never did. And here's the thing. And it's not that she doesn't have the right to make a video response. She can do whatever she wants. But you would think that if you're somebody who has said this is going to the police, this has been escalated to another level. Again, why are you openly and just flagrantly talking about it? You know what I mean? Why not just let things play out? Why draw that much more attention to it?
You know what's ugly about this whole thing, though, bro? It's two pregnant girls going at it right now. And unfortunately, like their babies are forever on the internet tied to this shit.
Yeah, this is true. It's gonna be these babies that come out, man. This is something. Hey, your mama, when she was pregnant, was going at it with this other girl over this.
No, but that sucks because you should be thinking about at this point your kids and like what you're doing for like how they can be affected by this and stuff. So your decisions shouldn't come solely off of anyone's vendetta and all that stuff. You should be doing right by your kids and by doing everything for them to protect them and to make things right. And I don't think like this is the right path for that. For a parent to do something like this, I don't think it's the right path, especially if you're doing it to fuel other people's agendas.
Exactly. You know, it just, again, if it's something that has been escalated to that degree, let the authorities handle it. And she herself said it. She's like, look, I only care about what the police think. Okay, well then let them handle it. Let them take it from here. You go back to being a mom. You know what I mean? Focus on your kids because, you know, you say that's what's important to you. Go focus on that. Go focus on that. Don't worry about this. Let them handle the rest. Let them do their job. You know? Don't worry about clapping back at people, especially if you say that you really don't care about what people say. Then okay, then fuck off.
Then you should, if you don't care what people say, then you shouldn't care about trying to persuade them or change their mind.
Exactly. And that's the other thing too. So that's where we're at with this. But thank you all for joining this chat. Appreciate you guys very much. Thank you to Zombie Fox and who else? And Ari. Y'all are the stream daddy and the stream mommy, as well as I believe it was the other person that super chatted. I gotta shout him out for that. Let me see here real quick. I think it was Mr. Jack the Ripoff. I think also did, so I appreciate that. Thank you. As well as Demon King Drago. Y'all are the stream daddies, and the stream mommy being Ari. Or if you want to be the stream them or stream legion, you could be that too. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and
Or Demi.
bounce out of here. Origami, did Origami show up? Is he in the
No,
chat?
I said I'm saying or Demi boys.
Origami boys.
No, remember that thing that Crow was watching, the Demi? I don't know if you were in that chat or his stream yesterday.
Oh no, I don't think I was there for that. But I went ahead and put Crow's stream in the chat for those of you. Go ahead and raid that one. I'll be on there a little bit later. But yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You all have a fantastic evening, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.